Yes,
Yep.
let's jump back in to In the Eyes of the Stars. This is session 9, all right? So, last session. And a little bit of a recap because, you know, this group has been adventuring for a while together. So, our intrepid adventurers were brought together via the Wyvern Wings Adventuring Guild. So, the librarian Lillian had had a dream that kind of drew these people together, looking after her mentor, the wizard Tobias Sinclair. So, he seems to have been investigating what these giants, who have been acting up a lot more in the north, were up to, as well as was a little nervous about them kind of coming and antagonizing the clans in the north. And so he had been doing a bunch of research, and one of the things that he found, as he's actually not from this brand new world and came from beyond, is that dragons were the natural enemies of the giants. And this being a world that's under 300 years old does not have a very large dragon population, especially ones that are big enough to combat a giant threat. And so the group, who were kind of chasing him to figure out where he went, what he was doing, traveled north, found his tower, explored it, and found some notes that he had actually been using something called essence pearls to create dragons. And so he had created this dragon from this primordial named Felgolis, who was kind of trapped in his own demi-plane, pulled him out of that and put him into a bronze dragon body, which is pretty interesting. And so, however, whether it was his power or the spell being the first time, it was a little defunct, and so he went in search of something called an essence crystal way far up in the north, and the path was revealed to him by Atola, who is the goddess of oh gosh, I'm blanking, but she's the dragon goddess of war, as well as like kind of a couple other things too. And so the group continued their travel north following this path in the stars revealed by her constellations. And they found Felgolis in the stone giants had kind of started building up a little bit of a area around there. They also combined with Oriana, who was a friend and ally from the north. And so they managed to convince her to help them out. They were in and out without anyone noticing, which was really cool, through a bunch of really awesome illusion spells and a warlock who doesn't need to breathe hiding underwater. And so the group continued their push north, took a little bit of a break in the village of Hearts, and used their dragon companion to cross onto the reverberant sheet, battling some creatures who were very intent on hunting down this dragon, and gathering themselves in the Ends Rune, which was a kind of old giant facility. They managed to continue the push north, finding this glacier on top of a glacier where the star pattern had led you. And so, jumping into this glacier, you managed to trick and fight and get things to fight for you your way through the first part, making it towards the end of this glacier space, and finding the thane, or the Jarl, if you will, of this clan of frost giants. And through some pretty ingenious use of beads of pearls and a very high-level spell, you managed to trap them and take them out. However, before he passed away, he called out to you and said, "I am not the end. It slumbers for now, but by Thrim's will, it will destroy you where I could not." And with that, he perished. The spell faded, and you guys left your beat of force and managed to find Tobias's frozen body through some spells and kind of defrosting him. He came back and, like, collapses out of this. You see, he begins to breathe heavily as his chest and, like, arms are defrosted, and kind of almost collapses on top of Felgolis, who is right there, ready to catch his friend. And he looks at all of you, and he just like looks in shock a little bit, but you see a elven man, very like pale, little bit of yellow tones in his skin, extremely high cheekbones. He's in green robes that are tattered, have a little bit of wear and tear on them, even though he has a little bit of a goatee and facial hair is very well kept for an adventurer who has been, going across the frozen tundra. And he just looks at all of you and is like, oh. Now either Lillian had gotten my message or I've just seen your faces in my dreams, but thank you for rescuing me. And then he like pats Felgolis in his halfling form on his head and like nods.
Indeed.
Lydia will approach and say, yes, we're very glad to have found you, but one moment, please. And then she'll go to the big, bad giant guy and kick him in the head and say, why do bad guys always think to have the last word? Newsflash, you're dead. You're never going to have the last word ever again. And then he'll kick him again.
Beautiful.
Miriam putting a hand over her mouth and laughing in the corner.
Oh yeah, this is great.
Sorry about that, Tobias. Well, now that we've rescued you, perhaps we could warm you up a bit and get on our way back to civilization.
Unfortunately, we need the essence crystal still. I wasn't able to find it, but I know where it is.
Is it? I mean, statistically, it's around here, isn't it?
And he points, and you guys notice very large doors carved out of the ice behind you, behind the throne, and says, I wasn't able to get back there before. Well, I just was unsuccessful, but there's this creature back there, and it froze me in the first moments that I was back there, and I just managed to get off the dream to Lillian, and it was corrupted because I was, being frozen. But it's a creature, and in the brief moment I saw it, the essence crystal is its core. And so I'm thinking when the essence crystal fell from the heavens, as Moriana's items do, it combined with the ice that it fell in, and these giants managed to find it before I could.
That's quite interesting. What did it look like?
Giant. Huge. Like, the giants are tall, but this thing is very large. Creature burly, made out of ice, and angry.
Well, I do believe that's where I will call in old Caldera. What's a better match for a big, angry ice creature than a big, angry phoenix?
That's a good point. I didn't get much of a chance to test it out or see what it reacts to, but I feel like that could be a good option. Did you all come through the rift?
The rift?
Oh, sorry. That's what they've been calling this glacier.
Yes, we have. We've made our way through. A little bit of trickery, a little bit of fireballs, a little bit of,
Almost dying.
Yes.
What? Hold on. I realize that I've been incredibly rude. Wait, let's get someplace safe. I am exhausted and half frozen, and you all look, not horrible considering you came from the rift, but here. And you see him begin to pull energy out of, the air, and this blue, crackling energy, and it, begins to crackle, and then it fades, and then he kind of, makes a grimace, a, oh, shit face, trying to cast it, but you just see, the exhaustion in his face, and eventually he manages to get the spell through, and a doorway opens up on the back of the throne, so anyone who came in the front entrance wouldn't be able to see it, and he just motions.
Alright. I will
And
walk
where
through.
where would this portal lead us to?
Miriam's already.
Miriam's like already gone. It's a space that I can take with me in my travels. A little bit of an extra. Zari's forgetting the word. Extra planar space that is for my own using. It's safe there to rest.
Oh, it's, I think I know that spell, and I'll head in.
I understand.
Well,
also
anything
go in.
sleeping in the cold here.
All
What do you
right.
think, Sheila?
I already went into.
Well,
But
fine, and then just stomp inside.
Yeah,
Into the portal.
Lydia turns around and we're all just gone. We trust this man implicitly.
I know, which is very funny.
I've been looking for him.
Yeah. So you guys all walk in, and it is a really relatively like cozy entryway, a living space. And it resembles a lot of the architecture that you saw in his tower. So it seems that he's been developing like this space and has like a style. So a lot of like elven elements that you, especially Miriam, would recognize from across the astral planes. So he's a being that has, which you already knew, has evidently come down to Ilumelan. And so plush carpets, it's a beautiful sitting area that looks pretty close to what's in the space. And he kind of like leads you through one of this archway into this pretty open, like kind of seating room, little bit of a library, and a bar. And so he like straight up walks up to the bar and pours himself like 3 fingers of an amber colored liquid, and comes back and like sits down on one of the tables.
I have a question. How old does this man look? Am I older than him? Am I glam?
Remind me how old you are again?
I am 668 years old.
And so you're like the equivalent of like 60s, 70s?
Yep, late 60s.
He looks to be about the same from what you can kind of gauge.
He's 669 is what I'm hearing.
Nice.
Nice! So, Tobias, I am Kieran.
I am Miriam.
My name is Lydia. Pleasure to meet you.
I'm gonna look over. I was gonna say I'm gonna look over at Sheila. Does she introduce herself?
No.
Oh,
Just
I'll
sup.
I'll just kind of motion my head towards her and go, Sheila. We were sent to come help, but I'm not sure if we entirely know what you're doing or what's going on. Where are you from initially?
Here and there. Off planet. I've been alive for years, as you know, and he motions to Miriam.
Miriam will nod. I understand, much the same. If you've heard of Miriam the Quick-Handed, then you know where I'm from.
He like looks at you for a moment. I feel like I've heard your name here and there throughout Illume when I went and dappled for information down in the underbelly.
I was the woman who got blown in the flame of fire, if that makes it any clearer.
Yes, I do recall that. Great story. Cool to know that it wasn't just a story, and also that you're alive. How did you get down here?
What exactly do you mean by that? How did I get down to the glacier? How did I get down to Ilumelan?
Ilumelan.
Hopped a ship. My name got a little too big back in my home planet.
All right.
In other words, she got kicked out from her own planet.
Didn't get kicked out. It's just, authorities were too hot on my tail.
Oh, so you like skipped town to, you know, not get caught. That's fair enough.
But I digress.
Well, anyway, we understand the dragon thing. We understand the essence pearls. We found Fegalis.
And Astra at this point has extracted herself from hiding in Felgalis's coat and is like all over Tobias, like on his neck, and he's like scritching her the entire time. So
Made our way through your tower. Neat trick on the illusory dragon, by the way. Took us quite a bit to figure it out.
thank you. I appreciate the compliment.
There might be a couple of scorch marks, but you know.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, if you figured out about the essence pearls, I'm assuming you figured out about my work with raising dragons, so scorch marks are nothing new. So, Lillian sent you, yes?
Yeah.
And are you from her guild?
Most of us.
At this point, he has offered each of you, like, beverages, and, like, a tea tray floats by and, like, has been set in the center of the table, so, Kieran, you would know that there's a lot of invisible servants in the Magnificent Mansion, and so, like, it seems like all of the comfy things have been starting to happen. Another one has draped a blanket over the back of him, so he's trying to, like, make sure that there's things available to you so that you guys can kind of settle in for a little bit.
Miriam will have whatever he's having.
Okay, cool. You take a sip of it. It's a very, like, smoky whiskey, and it's delicious, and it reminds you of something that you haven't had or found on Ilumelan, and definitely something from the old world.
Miriam is like, there is a definite look of wistfulness on her face. You have good taste, mon cher.
He, like, cheers it to you, like, yep.
Ooh, I want to try it now.
Okay, it's very good.
Okay, cool.
So, you are all with the guild, yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mostly.
Well, I will have to thank Lillian for sending you. And you said you knew about the essence pearls. I see you found Felgalis. And know of my work, and know why I was here, yes?
Indeed. Had many long conversations with Astrid. She is quite the good conversationalist.
She is a sweetheart, she is, and a little snarky, and he boops her nose. Well, I guess then the last bit of business is to get to the essence crystal and manage to extract it from whatever that beast is that has formed itself around it.
Indeed.
Alright.
Do you have any suggestions on a battle plan? You're the only one that's seen the creature per se.
I mean, the obvious things is that he probably, whatever that being is probably extremely beefy, very magical, and likely doesn't do well against cold attack, does very well against cold attacks.
You suspect that it might be weak against fire?
I'm not positive. From the beings that I have encountered, it goes one of two ways. Either beings made of frost are either susceptible to fire attacks or they're resistant to it.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
We will see. And to be honest with you, I don't know if I'm going to be in any form or way to fight tomorrow.
It's quite understandable. If I was frozen for however long, I probably wouldn't be feeling my best either.
Well, we could take as much time as you need to rest.
Well,
We don't really have a time crunch here. Could take us as long as we need now that we found you.
I suppose. However, what happened? So you did manage to kill the Jarl, as I saw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. He was a righteous jerk.
Indeed.
But
I would have used stronger words, but fair enough.
yeah. However, coming through, did you manage, there was many enemies. Did you manage to take them all out, or are they still remaining?
We've killed some. We've snuck by others.
Alright.
We locked them out, basically. They shouldn't be able to enter the vicinity.
Well, frost giants are nothing but tenacious, even if they aren't intelligent, so they may eventually figure it out. And without their Jarl, from the little bits and pieces I got, while I was sneaking through their rift, as they called it, the cradle, which is what they refer to the being as, was sent to them by their god, Thrym. And I know bits and pieces about giants, as many of them are similar and worship similar gods across all of the worlds that I have traveled to, in their various stages of growth. He's not a great god, and I don't actually know how much of a pull he has here, because with the new gods rising up and the new pantheon taking over, and the old pantheon of the previous planets in this solar system perishing, there might be a problem with them connecting with their gods, and so I'm nervous that it's making them act out, if that makes sense. So, I don't know how much time we have before they start to try to access the cradle, is what I'm trying to say. So, I personally think the sooner the better. I mean, it's already been several weeks, and the sooner we can get this essence crystal, this glacier that they've built up should fall away, because that's what's sustaining it, and hopefully they will all kind of go back to lick their wounds, which will give us some time to train with Felgolis, who will hopefully, due to my studies, advance to an ancient dragon by that point.
Very impressive. Now, I'm not the smartest cookie in the jar, but does rift or cradle mean anything more than just them having fancy names?
To be honest with you, I have never heard of a cradle before.
Well,
Rift,
I think of
Rift was mainly just what they called it because of the large cut through the glacier.
okay.
Alrighty.
What were you saying, Kieran? What was your thoughts
Well,
there?
I mean, cradle, I usually think of a baby's cradle. And a rift, I mean, is either a large cut, or I've heard of... I'm gonna look at Miriam and go, based on some stories and tales I've heard from Miriam, rift can be a place to jump between worlds.
That brings up an interesting point.
You're the expert here, I'm just doing word association, but...
Well, I'm wondering now if there's more to this. The Essence Crystal can do many great things. I'm sure you've seen the results of the Essence Pearls. Did you find them, by the way?
Oh yes, we found quite a bag of them.
Yeah.
Well, the Essence Pearls can do much. I mean, I managed to, that combined with a very high-level wish spell, managed to pull Felgolis out of his demi-plane, and change him from a lesser god, for lack of a better terms. And Felgolis, like, nods. He's exhausted, by the way. Felgolis is, like, almost conked out against Tobias, like, head on his, like, arm. Like, bundled up in a blanket. Like, he looks exhausted.
How was Legolas bound to his demi-plane? How did you get him?
He kind of like looks down at Felgolas, who kind of like does like a motion, like go ahead and tell them before his eyes like drift closed a little bit more. Felgolas, you know how I mentioned that there was a previous pantheon in this solar system tied to the other worlds, yes? And I know for some of you who maybe aren't as don't have as much longevity or maybe are newer to this world, a lot of those who have longer lifespans recall of the world before. And so, like your friend here, Miriam. And so there's a lot of hidden lore, a lot of things that have fallen and disappeared as when a world dies, its stories often die with it. And in this case, a new world ended up being born and taken over due to the work of the great Lady Simona, as well as several heroes and people combating a little demonic blip we had, which I recall. And so Felgolas was one of these beings that was left behind from the previous world. A lesser being, not quite a god, but not quite man, and he had been tied to a previous demi-plane, and with no access to enter into the world anymore because his world was gone, he was stuck there. And so when I did my research and started communing with the stars and with the other demi-planes, I managed to get in contact with him, and learning a bit more about him and his excitement to explore the new world as well as noble intentions, I thought about the ways that you could transform the body and figured that a dragon would be a good possibility. It was a need that needed to be filled, and dragons are highly intelligent creatures that are old and finicky and persnickety, and so an older being fits.
Fascinating.
Indeed.
It's been very high level magic.
Wish spell is very high level magic. I was laid out for several days after.
I understand. It's something I'll probably be attempting tomorrow.
Why do you ask, Kieran? Or were you just curious in the process?
I'm mostly curious. I'm not going to elaborate any further if he's fishing for anything.
Okay.
Miriam, small smile, because she knows. He's talking about
yeah.
fighting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
I am very excited for getting this essence crystal. I think that it will be enough to... You see, when I pulled Felgolas out of his demi-plane, it was my first time doing it, and I think things went a little wrong. He also... And he kind of, like, covers his ears like he's a child, even though he's sleeping. Isn't the strongest, lesser being. And being a being of luck and chance, things didn't go perfectly. And so I'm curious if I could do it again to find another being who's willing to do this, because this does need to be a willing being of much power. If I would be able to pull them out and they would be a little bit more whole. But the essence crystal, from my calculations, should be enough to advance Felgolas to being a full ancient-sized dragon, and could maybe have enough power to do one more.
Miriam is eyeing Kieran.
Kieran, you can fucking insight check him if you want. He's got a poker face.
Oh no, because she knows exactly. She knows about his wifey, so she's just giving him like, you know, the look when somebody's talking about your crush and your best friend's looking at you like, ooh, kind of look. She's giving him that look.
He's got the most fucking poker face of poker face. I will roll if I have to.
I mean,
Well,
I believe it. Kieran has a pretty high,
Let me-
deception there.
Let me use my deception, Zari.
Sure, you can roll. You're more than welcome to.
25.
Okay. So,
Well.
yeah, it's a pretty good poker face.
Hey, man, I need another nat 1 dirty 19 to happen again. It's
Oh,
funny.
yes, it is funny.
well, hopefully you find such a being relatively soon.
If I had the ability to, I would. I mean, I don't know if Felgolis is going to choose to assist you in getting this essence crystal. I believe he's invested now. And, well, I won't be able to. If I could maybe find someone to pull him out, I would. I'll have to do research to see how I can assist you.
Well, I will also talk to Fayez and see if there's anything from the plane of fire which might be amenable to you, but we'll see.
Think of
Slowly side-eye Miriam, like, don't you fucking take this from me.
She's giving him.
Well,
Slightly. I know exactly what I'm doing.
That's great. What were you saying, Lydia?
well, yeah, I've been listening to all of you, and this is all based on the research that, while it has some success in the past, perhaps we should not put all of our eggs in that single basket. I'm thinking perhaps that we should go back to civilization and start to modernize the world, push civilization further, and make more and better industries, and perhaps start a global warming. And at that point, it would melt the iceberg and perhaps take care of our problem.
I understand where you're coming from, Lydia, was it? The frost giants aren't the only problem. I've been getting rumors and reports from my contacts down south that the fire giants have also been acting up, as well as reports of the cloud and storm giants appearing. And the more that their ordning, if you will, begins to fall apart, the more that it's going to trickle down into the world. They believe that the small folk, as they call it, are not... It's like looking at a beast. Like, you look at cows. And in their minds, your lives they can take and give as will, and you are their playthings, especially for some of the more bestial ones. No, that's not to say every giant is like that. There was very nice, extremely nice stone giant who kind of nomads his way through the mountains over by where my tower is that I've been in contact with, and he knows of one or two frost giants that have kind of worked their way down south who are of like mind of working with the small folk. But I don't think we have time. And I want to try to buy us time, because by putting dragons back in the world, they now have a natural enemy. They have something to check them.
Yes, but you're talking about changing the fundamental ecosystem of an entire world.
Yes, which we already did. The giants were here when we populated this earth. We already changed the fundamental ecosystem, and the giants are just now starting to make their way in and to react and interact.
That is true. I saw the world back when our cities were not as big as they were. Although, I don't know if you could Well, certainly you haven't seen that, Lydia, but it was quite different. We've made a lot of ripples here already.
So if
All right. Well,
you
I'm still waiting for a valid battle plan. Like, instead of just going all out and get the essence crystal from its body.
well, let me know how I can assist if there's research that you need me
Is
to
it
do.
made out of flesh and blood? Is it made out of ice? What is this creature made of?
So, from what I saw, it seemed to be made out of. We can call it ice. You know, very similar to the elementals that you maybe have fought on your way here. There's these large ice elementals that roam the reverberant sheet, or maybe you've heard of them. So, very similar to that, but large.
Is it intelligent?
From my brief glance, it seems to be less of the intelligent type and a little bit more of the follow the base nature. Brute strength, if you will.
How big is it? How big are we talking about?
Hold on one second. Let Zari just check so I can give you an accurate answer.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I mean, the Jarl was.
The Jarl was about 25, almost 30 feet tall. So he was like a beefy boy. And with this creature, he kind of like thinks for a moment, kind of does like a little bit of a measuring with his thumbs just to like recall sizing. And then I'd say roughly about 60 feet tall.
Alrighty.
So
Does it fight with weapons? Does it have projectile capabilities? Does it use magic?
So what happened was I entered into this very large open cave. There's water on the ground, almost frozen, and a little bit of a kind of center area that looks like it could be some sort of thing built by the giants for worship. And it came up behind me. I wasn't expecting it in this cave, in the depths of the glacier. Came up behind me, and just as I'm turning, so this is all based off a very brief glance, mind you, and he looks a little smug at that. It opened its maw. This gigantic icy breath came from it, and that is when I began to freeze. And I managed to take myself back to the kind of entrance with magic and teleported myself, but I still was freezing, and the Jarl saw me and stared me down and told me that that's what I deserved for messing in giant matters.
Well, he's dead now, so that's what he gets,
I
I guess.
am just very grateful that while I was frozen, he did not smash me. Because I feel like if I had been smashed, I would have been dead.
I always forget that's something they can do.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm glad as well.
I'm gonna look over at Sheila and go, well, you're quite good at planning. Got any thoughts, opinions, ideas?
Maybe we can cast a contingency spell on little items a bunch and put fireballs on it and just have a familiar fly it over and drop them on it.
Soften it up a bit.
Or just until it dies.
I also have the plan. You guys saw what I did with those senses beforehand. I might fill a couple up with oil, have it splashed onto it, send in Caldera, have it light that up, and keep melting away at it. Either it'll be resistant to the fire, or it'll be weak to it. Either way, fire's fire and it'll hurt. So that's one of the things that I might plan to help burn that bitch down, as one might say.
I will let you know that it was not there when I first entered. It seemed to come up out of the glacier. So just keep that in mind.
Great.
That something that happened, something I did, triggered it.
Do you know what that might have been?
Well, I walked in, and I'm a pretty stealthy fellow, but I went towards the kind of pedestal that they have there that had a chest on top of it, thinking that maybe they had stored the essence crystal in there if they had gathered it already. And as I had approached it, the cradle came up behind me.
Well, perhaps that was the trigger then, approaching the chest.
Perhaps.
Okay, so we just spend all of our spell slots making glyphs until we have a bunch, and then we'll activate it later and let it come up and blow it up.
I raised my hand. I don't know how to make glyphs.
Well, if we have forever, I can make like 10 a day.
And do you have spell slots left for today? Do you have, do you attach them to things, or do you put them on the ground?
I can just go put it on the ground.
Can you
No.
attach things?
Yeah, but it can't move if I attach it to something, so it's kind of like,
Alrighty. That is unfortunate. I mean, I'm a little nervous about using up all your energy, especially since you are such a versatile, person.
Spider.
Tobias, would you by any chance have any tools or weapons that we could use?
To be honest with you, what I have on my body is... I used up almost all of my potions and the like to get in here. I was at the end of my energy. I was planning on just nabbing the crystal and teleporting back to my tower. And
Can you?
teleport back to my tower? Yes.
How many people can you teleport?
All of you, certainly.
So we have our exit plan then.
Indeed.
We could
No.
also go back to the village and buy more bombs.
Not sure if we
We
have,
had good success with those bombs.
I'm not sure if we have time for that.
I also do not envy the idea of trying to trek through this frozen wasteland another time, to be completely honest.
I also think that the longer that we wait, the more time the Giants will have to elect another thane and to bring in more clans and make allies with more things up along the reverberant sheet and protect what they have come to decide is theirs. Also, if this poses to Kieran's supposing earlier, if this thing is a cradle, what is going to come of it?
That is a very good question.
I don't think we want to go too deep into that line of thought. Because if it's a cradle, that means it's a baby. And if it's a baby, that means we have to kill it. And if we kill a baby, I think that would make us monsters.
Well, I mean...
Sometimes you gotta.
Damn, Miriam!
Is that one of the crimes that you did on your previous planet?
I will neither confirm nor deny that. All you need to know is there were no humanoid deaths.
How are... Their god. Fly's thinking really hard right now.
Through. Here, let me copy paste the name because it's Zari,
Something.
and I pronounce things differently every time I say him.
Is he from the old?
You know, I couldn't tell you. I don't know how giant gods work. that is a little bit of a something that I've been intrigued in, but didn't research enough when I had the capabilities to, because I, to be honest with you, dove a little hard into, you know, how dragons are formed and their raising and training, but I was under Atola's house for several years. And so, giants across all of the various dimensions and worlds seem to always have the same set of gods. And I don't know if that's an old thing or how it works, but I have my theories.
Alright. Well, there's no use ruminating and trying to make guesses about things we don't know. What we do know is we have to go get an essence crystal, and it's in a thing that we're going to have to trigger to appear that it can freeze people in its entirety, and it takes a while to unfreeze them, and that we have to either kill it or rip the thing out of its chest to get it. And Tobias here is our exit strategy. How quickly can you get this all out?
Hold on, let me look. I don't recall how quickly this spell is.
Because if it's like a teleportation circle, I think it's a minute.
Yeah, I think it's a minute too.
And it can be maintained for a while, correct?
Teleport is an action. Teleportation circle is a minute. So he was referring to teleport.
Okay. So he can teleport as quick.
Correct.
Alright.
While we're at it, do we know what those potions that we looted earlier do? They might be useful.
Oh, yeah. We've got the crown. And then there's 3 potions. Yeah, someone should take some time to look at that.
Well, I can cast Identify. I could take care of that.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I don't think we
So I
ever...
will cast Identify.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one moment. Let me pull that back up.
We also
Slam.
have a Staff of Frost, and I'm gonna hold up the crown this.
Do you know what that does?
No. Do we know what that does?
You did. Someone
Okay.
did identify the ice rune.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
I believe that we should use everything to our advantage. Do we know who might be able to make use of that rune?
I mean, I feel like any of us could. It requires attunement, though, so I'm free up to be attuned to more items, but I don't know about anyone else.
I'm free, but I don't know exactly how much it would help me. I'm already resistant to fire as it is. Oh, look at Lydia and Shelia.
You can have
Not
it.
really my style.
Yeah, I'm too cool for it anyways.
Look at the color; it just doesn't go with my skin color.
I mean, you can make it into something else. You can make it into boots or a cloak, as it is.
I want to be caught dead with that. No, no, thank you.
I agree.
Miriam will sigh. I mean, if I must.
I'm also happy to use it if needed.
I mean, you are very free to, Kieran. Do you want it?
I mean, resistant fire damage would be nice, especially with you on the battlefield, and he'll give you a wink.
Miriam will grin. So we do have that potion of frost giant strength, as Lydia has illuminated to us. Who do we believe should take that?
I mean, Lydia's currently got it, but
No. Oh, did you guys already find the potion of frost giant strength?
We did.
Oh,
Yep.
then this one isn't frost giant strength. Sorry. Those were the first
It's
three.
storm giant strength. I'll take it.
ha ha ha.
Roll to persuade the DM, Shorty.
I have a minus
Roll,
2.
roll.
Roll!
Oh,
You can here.
pretty
I'll
bad.
You can roll a luck
Shorty.
check.
Shorty, I could roll.
Wait, I'm good at luck check.
Yeah, you
Do
can
a
roll a
luck
luck
check.
check. Look at that nat one.
72.
Oh. It's not storm giant strength.
Oh,
You had to
just
be-
cloud giant.
You had to beat a 75. What?
Oh. Oh, come on.
What? I set the
I will
DC
cast
in my
guidance
head.
on Sheila.
You cast. Oh, perfect.
What did you cast?
Guidance.
Boom!
There you go. Wrong call.
75! Sorry, what you gonna do?
You said it.
You know what? That's not how that works, but I think it's funny, so go for it. That can be the last one.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, sorry. You said that the essence crystal came from outer space. Would that be considered another plane?
You're not from what you roll me just a straight intelligence check.
Sure thing. Intelligence. That's an 8.
Okay, so based on what you read, this is more to see like what you can piece together. Based on what you read, just a little bit of a reminder, the essence crystal is Moriana has a lot of tumultuous external extra magic, and you know that the pantheon of gods who are like officially sitting on the pantheon have all developed their own planes in this world. And so you would know that they have their own plane and that somehow they create these essence pearls, essence crystals, and somehow they transform or transfer to our world. You're not quite sure how.
Gotcha. Well, guys, would a simple banishment spell on the essence crystal solve our problem?
Well, I
Without
mean,
the
I
essence
think,
crystal as its core, the creature should just disassemble, and then when it comes,
yeah,
when the
unless
essence
it's a
crystal
part of the
pops out
creature, though.
back- Well, no, the creature itself was made out of materials here, so it shouldn't be banished in the same plane.
Can you banish items?
Yeah, but if I get banished, my items that were made out of material here also go with me.
Yes, but you came from this plane. You are from this plane, correct?
Yes, but I think your logic's not tracking.
Also,
No, so the essence crystal came from another plane, and when the essence crystal came to this plane, it used the material around here to create a...
Sure, but
odd-
by that logic, that means if a person from a different plane came here and put on stuff that was from this plane, and you banish that person, their stuff would remain. I don't think
Exactly.
that would work. I don't
Tobias
think it'd
raises
work
his
like that.
hands.
Let's test that theory. Let's banish Miriam.
Bye, Miriam.
Are you banishing her?
No need to get hasty here.
Does someone have banishment?
I think
I'll use an essence pearls to banish Miriam.
don't use an essence pearl to banish Miriam.
Tobias
Have an
raises
entire
his hand.
bag of them. We could be.
I
we could
mean,
use them.
if you wanted to, Tobias was like about to interject, but if you want to, go for it. I think it's funny.
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead
Right.
and expend 4 slots of whatever essence pearl you have.
All right. So I've got 2 slots left, and yeah, I'll banish Miriam.
Okay, and Miriam or Lydia, what's your saving throw?
That is a 19.
Okay, so Miriam, you need a charisma saving throw of 19.
She doesn't know if this is gonna send her back to her home plane, so she's resisting.
Okay.
Because she technically isn't from this world.
You're
oh my
right.
gosh. Oh no. Oh no. My die is rolling in slow motion.
Oh no.
It's like super fucking thematic. Oh my god.
It just wants to add some drama.
I'm watching it. In the...
Taking so fucking ever.
Oh no.
Okay, so Miriam blips out of existence. And
Just
she
before she blips, Lydia will just wave and smile sweetly at Miriam.
Miriam's flipping her off.
all of her stuff goes with her.
You know, if you don't release concentration, she can never come back.
That's a very good point.
I'm gonna kick
This
Lydia.
is just-
Make a Constitution saving throw to try to maintain concentration.
Yes, ma'am. Natural 20, come on. That's a
Okay,
12.
so you do make it because it's just a 10 DC.
I'll kick him again. I'll kick her again.
I will dodge out of the way.
Can you
Now that
die?
I know that,
Buddy?
I know that she's a foe, I will keep an eye on.
Okay, so the
Like
way that
Fury.
this is gonna work is you guys are essentially fighting each other now. So, we already have an established, like, pecking order here. So, Kieran, you had acted. Lydia, do you have anything that you want to do as you're dodging here in this? This would be the second round now.
Let me think. I would like to take out my diamond of time freezing,
What?
and
Don't use that here.
I'll threaten Kieran. If you attack me again, I'll activate this diamond. Don't think I won't.
Are you really gonna use something? I don't know what that is, but are you really gonna use something like that here in this instance?
It's just a regular diamond, but Kieran doesn't know that. Wahaha!
Hey, can I?
So this will be a contested check. Lydia, go ahead and roll. I will let you pick between deception or intimidation. And Kieran, go ahead and roll insight. Holy shit!
Nice 24. Damn it.
Okay, you know that she is bullshitting you.
I'll smile and I go, alright, then do it.
Lydia will be a bit nervous, and then don't think I won't, and then she'll throw the diamond at Kieran in the eye.
Can I try to catch it?
Yeah. So, I'll do. If you want to roll just a dexterity check, Lydia, because it's an improvised weapon. And then Kieran, you can roll a dexterity saving throw to try to catch it. So you just need to beat that 11.
Damn.
Okay, easy enough. Lydia chucks it at you. It goes a little wild, and you just snatch it out of the air.
While that's happening, Lydia's gonna bolt.
So actually at that point, Tobias is gonna intervene, and he's like looking a little nervous, and he actually is gonna cast Hold Person on you. So I need you to make.
I'm grinning, by the way. Like, I'm clearly fucking around.
Okay. Will you roll a Wisdom saving throw for me, Lydia?
Yes, sir. What's with all the crappy rolls? Damn.
Okay, that is enough. Not enough. You are now paralyzed as you're trying to run and are kind of stuck there for a second. So that is the end of, like...
Isn't Lydia a goblin?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am.
That the whole personnel work on goblins, does it?
Since when?
Goblins
Yes,
aren't humanoids,
goblins
are they?
are immune to hold person.
Come on! Come on, Tobias! I thought you were good at this.
Goblins are don't
Fuck,
gaslight me!
man!
Goblins are not immune to Hold Person.
I think they are. I don't think they count as humanoids, do they?
Yes,
let me-
they do.
Let me check in in their racial thing, because I know Faye humanoid, but I know Faye
Oh,
can't be.
I was wrong. Okay, continue.
Oh my god.
Somebody's checking the rules. Okay, I was wrong.
I appreciate it.
Also, banish. What level did you cast banishment at? Because she'll just come back in like a minute, right?
The problem
No.
is that Miriam's technically not of this plane.
Mm.
So she is banished back to the plane she's originally from. And
you know what?
and
You know
after a
what?
minute, if this is held, after a minute she stays there permanently.
Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just call after Lydia, stuck in her form, and I'll just say, "You do realize that without Miriam, it's going to be a very long, cold journey back without her genie bottle. All those miles.
I
you'll
thought
have to
Tobias
walk
was teleporting us.
to his back to his tower.
You're
but
not
the rest
teleporting
of
us
the way-
anymore, Tobias?
No, I'll teleport you back to the tower, but
Oh,
it's still
sounds like
cold.
that's a total lie.
No, but the rest of the way, all those weeks on foot.
Don't listen,
So
Lydia.
while that's happening, Lydia is gonna wait for 58 seconds and then drop the banishment.
That's fair. That's
Okay. That's funny. So there's like just a standoff. Both Kieran and Sheila like talking over your shoulder, and Tobias doesn't know what to do. Eventually you do break his hold person, and he'll kind of drop it once you guys are like talking it out. So you do eventually regain facilities, and just right at the last second, Miriam, you pop back.
Miriam pops back with like 3 kolaches under her arm, because if you're native to a different plane of existence, then I'm not incapacitated.
No, you're not.
Yeah, so Miriam pops back with like 3 kolaches under her arm, like a flask of wine that you guys have never seen before, and a weird pastry in her mouth.
I love it.
Have a fun time.
So you
Yeah, I was
your
trying to...
pain and everything you do with you steal stuff. Shame on you.
I didn't steal it. I paid for it. My God. Although, you know, it would be kind of fun if I struck up my old name just for 1 fucking minute.
By the way, I'm gonna just slide that diamond into my pocket.
Why don't we just make a contested check here? So go ahead and roll sleight of hand.
I'm not great at.
Oh no. So, Lydia, I think your passive perception is higher than an 11 because it's pretty high. So you do notice Kieran pocketing the diamond.
I'll just stick it in, and if I see her noticing, I'll just give her a wink.
Oh, are you trying to
I
steal
will
it?
Yeah, I'm trying to pickpocket it back.
I'll let you take. I'll let you take it.
So what happens is you notice Kieran. Kieran gives you a wink. You wait a couple moments and then like try to pickpocket him, and he just like freezes in a way, and just like Kieran doesn't breathe. But when he freezes, it's just really unsettling, and just like you start to see this dark smoke begin to pour off of him as you grab the diamond and your hand gets caught and you like go tripping and sprawling with that nat 1, and Kieran's just looking down at you, and you almost see just like a reflection of a beak in front of his face.
And then I'll smile and it goes away.
Joke's on you. I swapped the diamond for a piece of turd.
Yeah. Oh, alright. I think we all needed that laugh a little bit. Alright.
Well, the banishment plan didn't quite work, but it was good to have a whole 58 seconds without Miriam at least.
Also, as I was trying to say before all of this happened, banishment only works on a creature. The essence crystal is not a creature, it is an item.
An item.
As far as
Oh, that
what I
would
would
not-
assume, it's an object. Like a magic item, if you will.
Yeah, but that would not have been quite the problem. We could have used the Essence Pearls to modify the spell, since that is one of their capabilities.
Could have tried.
Regardless, it's not a viable solution.
Miriam, they're talking, is pouring herself a glass of her otherworldly wine.
Yeah,
I definitely.
you spent about how nice of a bottle of wine did you buy?
The nicest they would sell me.
Okay.
That for a minute.
Okay, so I'll say for the sake of things, you spent about 30 gold between the wine and the other things, and the rush.
Wait, did she go to a fancy liquor store or just to the corner 7-Eleven?
You don't know. You don't know what the plane looks like.
I think that deserves a luck check.
No. It deserves, if Miriam's gonna tell you or not.
No, I mean, it deserves to see if Miriam was lucky enough to go to a fancy spot. Or if she just went to a local 7-Eleven. Gas station.
I'll definitely try some if you're willing.
I'll try that luck check. Am I in Felgulus's radius?
You are...
Does that give advantage on the luck checks, or is that just
No.
70?
Okay, you landed in an area that had a pretty nice place.
Amazing.
You know what, Lydia? Honestly, if you're willing to do that again and promise not to not actually keep me there,
Banished.
I'm amenable to that in the future.
Really?
I've already banished her mid-sentence.
Miriam's making another mad dash.
Okay, if you're not resisting it, you land in the same space. You're making another mad dash. What are you grabbing this time?
I'm grabbing 2 more bottles of wine. I am grabbing like a book from my. Well, no, they wouldn't be selling books at a wine store. I'm buying whatever they're gonna sell me. I'm like, listen, I have a bag. Fill it up. Fill it up. Fill it up. Liquor, food, anything. I will pay you 100 gold.
Okay, so you slap down. They say make it 150, and you got a deal. So you slap down 150 gold. You end up with about 3 bottles in your bag, as well as what the essentially is like a to-go charcuterie tray, and a whole box of pastries, as well as some random knickknacks. Oh, what were you saying, Lydia?
I will casually ask Tobias where the kitchen is.
He kind of points back across the front entryway, and you see another archway kind of materialize.
Great. I will casually go there and grab some eggs and or tomatoes and come back and position myself in front of Sheila, but in a way that when Miriam pops back, she'll be right in the middle.
Okay.
Hey, Sheila, you want to play catch with me?
No.
You don't even know. Do you even know how to play catch?
It's pretty self-explanatory. I just don't want to play with you.
Just
Alright, you
one
talked me
throw.
into it. Let's play.
Great. And I will spin my hands, rip the egg, go into pitcher form, and then throw the egg, and stop the banishment so that Miriam reappears and she is hit by an egg in the head.
I like to imagine it's right in the middle of all Miriam's like, by the way, tell Miriam the quick-headed is back, a motherfucker!
Absolutely. You are covered in egg now.
Miriam, she's sputtering and she's gonna cast prestidigitation to clean her face off.
What's supposed to happen?
Uh-huh. Anyways, here I was, gonna get enough to share with all of you, give you a taste of my homeland, but Kieran, do you want a drink?
I'd love a drink.
Well,
I'm
what did I do?
You know what? Yeah, Sheila, you're an innocent party.
Alright.
And I will pour both some of that already opened bottle of wine that I poured for myself earlier.
Beautiful.
Wow.
And
not to get us back on business, but, I mean, the group's relatively good at being a little cheaty-doodly, but sounds a bit more like we're gonna for sure have to... Unless any of you know how to manage to extract an object of some kind or an item of some kind out of the chest of something, it sounds like we're gonna have to kill it.
Well,
Or-
fuck it. We ball. Let's go.
I do have a question. Tobias, whenever you saw it, did it look like it had a mouth?
Yes, it opened its mouth and breathed frost on me, very specifically.
Miriam's eyes kind of twinkle a bit, and she's gonna hold up the potion of diminution.
That
What
might,
if we
Speaking of
get this in there, make it a bit smaller and easier to handle?
that would be
Speaking of
very
which-
difficult, but I think that would be helpful.
Speaking of which, from what I understand, we currently have 2 potions of the Munination, a potion of invulnerability, a potion of storm giant strength, and then Candle, did you have Lydia take the potion of stone giant strength?
Yeah, but she doesn't really need it. She'll offer it back.
No, has she drank it, consumed it?
No.
Okay. And then a potion of stone giant strength. And I'm gonna pull out a potion of heroism.
Well, I have this cool potion of storm giant strength too.
Yes,
Oh, I said the potion of storm giant strength already.
Okay. Just
So
making sure
we've got
everybody
2
knows.
things. Yep. So we've got 2 things that increase our strength. It might be one that gives extra healing and a little extra. What's the bless spell, right? Heroism.
I believe
Mhm.
so.
So 2 that increases strength, 1 that gives extra health and such, 1 that makes into everything, and 2 things to fuck around with.
Well, how should we divvy them up? I mean, some of you take more hits than the others, so I think one of you... Yes, I know, I was looking at you there, Kieran, so I believe you might benefit from that potion of invulnerability, although it does last for a minute. Potion of heroism, I think, could benefit any of us. I will most likely be in the back of Blaston, so take that as you will. Sheila, do you think there's anything here that would benefit you greatly? Obviously excluding that storm giant strength. I'm assuming you're already taking that.
No, I'm pretty cool. I don't need anything.
Anything here you would like, Lydia?
No, I don't do drugs.
I mean, the heroism might be good for... How many... Okay, this is a DM question.
Mm-hmm.
How many potion effects can you be under at once?
Any of them. All of them. Unless they say it requires concentration, it doesn't matter. It's like
Yeah.
how
What
many
I'm hearing
potions...
is-
It's like how many spell effects can you stack? Like, you can
what
be
I'm
under
hearing
Bless,
is-
you can be under Aid, you can... Yeah, so you guys could 110% stack things. But just keep in mind time constraint, as well as remember that it is an action to feed someone else a potion, but in this world, it is a bonus action to take a potion yourself.
So what I'm hearing is that Kieran, as our only melee fighter, should just down stuff.
But I often hit things with a stick. Thank you very much.
That's true, but
Anyways, I think we're ignoring the main issue of this battle. All resistances and things are great, but if you're frozen, they mean nothing.
this is true.
So maybe Tobias can do some digging in his heart and brain and come up with some information on what happened to make him frozen. Like, did
yeah.
you do really bad when he breathed on you, or does it just happen? What are your thoughts, Tobias?
So, my thoughts
Did you
are-
like just stare into it and not try and avoid it? What's going on here?
No, I try to avoid it. I just am a rather old elf who is very well along in his years, who relies more on his wits and the ability to run from things, and so facing down a freezing breath full force was a little rough on my constitution and
I'm sorry, are you saying as long as we're not super old, we won't be frozen?
Not
think he's
necessarily.
saying
I'm
you
saying
have
Can you come up with something better?
I think it's a strong constitution there, Sheila.
Okay, so you're saying you're sickly, and as long as we're not sickly, we'll be alright.
no, I'm saying that this thing is very rough and that facing down a breath at point blank that freezes you if you do horribly is hard for anyone.
Was it a cone?
Yes.
Next question. How much time? You said that you had a little bit of time to get out before you fully froze.
Yes, I
Is
did.
it a delayed effect then?
It's not necessarily a delayed effect, to be honest with you. I had a contingency that if I dropped to 1 HP, sorry, not 1 HP, that
What's 1 HP?
What's 1 HP? That if I fall unconscious, I dimension door to the last safe place I recall.
Okay.
So after you were frozen, or in the process of being frozen, did you have other attempts to break the ice from you or something, or was it just over for you?
It was just over for me.
Okay.
But you managed to get me out rather quickly with fire.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it would be a great application in the middle of a fight, though.
Well, I guess the answer is don't get frozen then, eh, Sheila?
Alright, so the trickiest one of us needs to maybe use magic or something to try and draw its attention.
I'm gonna look over at Sheila, and then I'm gonna look over at Lydia, and then I'm gonna look over at Miriam, and I'm gonna go take your pick.
I think the person that is the most distracting here is Miriam.
Oh, thank you. I mean, like I said, I can use my, you guys saw the senses beforehand, and I can use that to hit it from all directions, try and distract it alongside bringing Caldera. And if one of you want, has any of you ever been a T-Rex before?
No, you keep pitching this terrible idea.
Have you ever been
Yeah, a cold-blooded creature inside of an iceberg is not a good idea.
I mean, you could do some good chunk of damage.
Exactly.
Also, I will just remind you, because I was trying to make sure it was clear, but he did say that he dropped unconscious. So he only became paralyzed from this because he dropped unconscious.
Okay.
So just don't be hit by it when you're low.
Yes.
Yeah. Also you can fly, which makes evasion a little bit easier, and will, if it's targeting just you, Miriam, will make it less likely to target us, or able to.
That's fair. I will also, though, remind you that I am a bit squishy, as one might say.
Huh? I'm gonna hand the potion of heroism over to you.
Greatly appreciated.
Well, we know that it lives inside the wall. I could use my locate object to find it, and at that point, we could put traps in front of it, and then trigger it to come out of the wall, and then the traps would activate. What kind of traps that is, I'm not quite sure.
Well, I also don't know if it attacked because I was in the room or attacked because I walked towards the chest on the altar. That was the first time I had dropped invisibility.
Alrighty.
Well, what do you think was in the chest in the first place?
I have no clue. Obviously not the essence crystal.
Does anyone know how to, illusion magic?
I mean, I know a little.
When you, casted the door, are you able to cast, like, maybe someone moving towards that chest?
Yes.
Could maybe do that, draw it out.
And then get a little bit of surprise on it.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I would probably, before we start this fight, I will summon Caldera, and he is not the most, as one might say, sneaky, but to be fair, he can squeeze through tiny spaces, so I might be able to keep him bottled up and, well, not bottled up fully, but put into the actual part of my bottle and then release him.
You said he's a phoenix?
Mm-hmm. They can, as they are made of fire, they can go through spaces about 1 inch wide without having to squeeze in all reality.
Sure. But he is made of fire?
Yes.
Alright, well I can summon a fire elemental out of him then.
Fantastic.
What? So that means we can check to see if the creature is vulnerable, then fire elemental will be very nice.
And if it's resistant, then, well, fire's still nice. It just won't do as much damage, but that's alright.
Well, at least for us, it's freezing over here.
Yeah, I believe that's the effect of the cradle and taking the energy from this essence crystal. I don't know if you noticed, but the closer you got to the crystal, the harder the giants hit, as well as it's colder here.
Have you guys been hit by giants at all?
Nope.
Kieran's just gonna kind of like nod solemnly.
Nada.
Y'all need to get in the front lines a little more often.
They just can't hit me.
Yeah,
Don't know how to take a hit.
just because I think this is funny, one of the regional effects is that frost giants within 1,000 feet gain a +7 bonus to attack and damage rolls. You never got
Damn.
hit by a frost giant within 1,000 feet. So...
Kieran hasn't?
No!
No, Kieran's just like, checks out. I've been really ouchied recently.
Yeah. Just because I think it's interesting and I wanted to tell you.
Mm-hmm. That's good to know.
Well, can we get Felgulus up and running by, like, shoving a few essence pearls into him? And beat him up for the fight?
Yes, however, I think that it would just kind of rejuvenate him so he doesn't get as exhausted. You see, I think that since he's not a real dragon, and again, he covers his ears, even though Felgulus is, like, conked, like, snoring, mouth open, drool coming out, I've noticed that he doesn't act quite as quickly. Bronze dragons that I've studied, especially of the adult and ancient variety, have the ability to move a little bit faster and attack more times, to take off and move around in battle, and Felgulus doesn't demonstrate any of that. However, he did carry on his ability to provide luck to those around him, so, which I thought was interesting. And so I'm curious if that faster movement and additional abilities is going to come back with the essence crystal restoring him to full. So
Okay,
essentially
so what
he's
I'm hearing
saying
is there won't be a lot of help during the fight.
so essentially what he was saying is that Felgulus doesn't have his legendary actions.
Okay, gotcha.
Fair enough. I mean, but would his aura still work if he was a creature in a different form?
I don't know. I mean, his aura still works when he's changed shape into a humanoid. So I would suppose so.
I'm just wondering if maybe I can polymorph him briefly to give a little extra HP to work off of, and then work from there. You know, like I say, T-Rex. Everybody wants to be one, but I don't.
Miriam just really wants to turn someone into a T-Rex. She wants to flex
Hey.
that she's seen T-Rexes.
Hey, just save it for when Kieran inevitably gets fucked up, alright?
Fair enough. Ooh, you want to be a T-Rex so bad. Ooh.
Alrighty. Is there any other conversation that you wish to have, or are you settling down for the evening?
This is more sly talking here, but like legitimately, is the current plan like maybe using some sort of like illusory magic to trick it into attacking something that's not there, and then us trying to surprise it?
I think so. I feel like that's the best plan.
Okay. What about our subsequent plans? Like, is Miriam gonna try to play keeps away with it?
I think so. I think she can hit it with, 8 Eldritch Blasts at a time, and then also have the Phoenix keep coming at it. Because the Phoenix, talking full out of character, the Phoenix has flyby, so.
Yeah. And you can also shove it away from us so we can generally keep its distance. Kieran can use. He's not as powerful with just his Eldritch Blast with the fancy stuff he does, but he can keep a distance, which will be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And if he needs to be in melee, he'll just be in melee, and that's fine. Are there any sort of bullshit trickery, cough cough shorty, that you're thinking of, or you're not gonna share with the class yet?
No.
Do you have anything and you're just not sharing with the class, or do you not have? Do you have something and you're not sharing with the class, or do you not have? Right now?
No.
That doesn't answer my question.
Sounds like,
Shorty, that's just as cryptic.
sounds like a shorty.
Mm-hmm.
And then we might also want to try and, I know things this big tend to be able to resist something through sheer force of will, so we might want to try and hit it with enough things at first to wear that down.
That's true. I can also hex it. That'll maybe make it, at least if there's anything in particular people want to hit it with, make it a little bit easier, make it a little bit harder for it to resist it.
I have Bite and Dominate Monster, both of which require both of which require a creature to draw upon its wisdom.
What about you, Sheila? What's a lot of your stuff?
Most of my stuff is to control other people, but I don't think that's going to work on a construct.
Yeah, I'm just gonna summon an elemental and watch it duke it out.
Alright, well, if we're planning on mostly just trying to duke it out, then we'll just duke it out.
Alright.
Maybe the creature fight is the way to go.
I'm gonna hold up the shard and say, I don't know if this is gonna be helpful, but I'm gonna try to attune to it, unless anyone else has any qualms with it.
Not at all. Lydia, did you want to try and attune to that staff of frost?
Yes, I think that's what I'm going to be doing, but I don't think ice magic is going to be much good, but I'll attune to it anyways.
If I remember correctly, you told us that it gives you a bit of resistance to the cold, so that would be useful in and of itself.
True.
Alright.
Okay.
Do we want to...
Oh, go ahead.
Do we want to try to take a longer rest here, or are we just looking for something short?
No, we definitely need some rest.
I'm going.
My magical powers are tapped out.
Okay. Because I'm not incredibly tapped out, but yeah.
Alright, so with that, the unseen servants will kind of announce that dinner is ready through doors being thrown open, and Felgolis wakes up with a jump, and I imagine that for the sake of this, that part of this conversation was happening over dinner, and Felgolis and Tobias were kind of chatting off to the side as you guys compared a bunch of different talk shop, if you will. But you do manage to get shown up a sweeping giant staircase up to a series of guest rooms off to the side. They're very simple. Each one has like a pretty large bed, as well as that's super comfy, as well as like a dresser and like a mirror and like a little sitting area and an attached bathroom. So you each have your own space. It's super comfortable. Lydia, you are very grateful for an evening back in civilization, if you will.
I am absolutely lounging in Tobias's robe that I stole.
Okay, sounds good. Middle of dinner, you figured out where his room was, snuck in, stole his robe.
Oh no, the stole beforehand from his castle.
Oh! That's right! I forgot about that. That's super funny. Are you letting him see you?
Oh, absolutely.
Alright, okay, that's hilarious. He gives you a weird look, and then kind of like a dirty look, but he doesn't approach you about it.
Miriam just gives him a slight grin and will offer him a glass of the wine from her homeworld.
He takes it, and it's kind of like the I'm taking this, but I'm still mad at you kind of pouty thing happening.
Lydia is going to like grab, try to get Tobias's attention and like nod toward Miriam, and then show him an essence pearl. Just say the word, and I could banish her again.
Maybe you should save some of that energy for the fight tomorrow, or if I'm able to try to figure out another creature to pull from a demi-plane, we could always use the pearls to do that and give you some more assistance.
Well, instead of pulling something from a demi-plane, can we send this creature to the to another plane? Just send it to like the fire plane or something.
We need the thing in its chest.
So
Yeah, but
But
a
it-
temporary displacement.
You could attempt to plane shift something, and if it succeeds, it would send it away. But it doesn't come back, necessarily.
I mean, Kieran, don't you have a little bit of experience with beings and other planes that we might be able to call on?
I'm gonna give you a bit of a dirty look. Yes. Yes, I do. So I'm going to hopefully speak to you. I'm gonna look at Miriam again in private about that, actually. Goodbye.
To me,
She just eating grin.
well, my son, if you wanted to chat about it, we can step away into the other room.
Have fun, have fun.
Yeah, that'd be great. Again, another like, come on, really, man?
So your secret kind of half revealed to the group. He leads you. You're like finishing up dinner at this point and had kind of like gone to or trickling off to your rooms. I imagine that Sheila looked for solitude earlier than the rest of you. But he leads you back into kind of that drawing room and snaps in the doors shut. And it's kind of like a glass pane, and he kind of snaps again and curtains drop over it. And he pours another glass of that whiskey and hands it to you.
He's not gonna drink it this time.
Okay.
Serious. Not serious mode, but... well... My... patron. I have a bit of a unique relationship with her. Oh, sorry, I don't remember fucking names.
What do you mean? What names don't you remember?
Faye's backstory.
Feya's backstory?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can help you with any of that as you need it.
Well, And I will take kind of like pull off my glove so he can see the smokiness.
Mm-hmm.
My patron is on a demi-plane. I would like to release her, bring her here if possible, but she's stuck. Her grandmother, right?
No, her mom.
Her mom trapped her there. Punishment.
And who was her mother?
I don't remember.
Hold on one second. I think it's... I need to, like, scroll back through my document.
Talk too much.
I do... Yeah. Belladonna.
Yeah, he's gonna kind of wince and go, Belladonna.
Are you referring to the Fae of this world?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. So you're saying that I don't know a ton about the Fae politics.
No, I think it was Titania.
Oh!
No, I think it was
so,
Titania.
So what happened was, let me just reiterate to you because I remember now and I found our notes. So what happened was in the Fae War that broke out about 100 years ago in Earth time, although time is wibbly wobbly between the Feywild and here, Belladonna rebelled against the rest of the Fae. And so because of that, and while Fea did not do anything necessarily to act out, she also didn't do anything to stop her mother. And so because of that, they punished her by sending her to a demi-plane and severing her tie with the Feywild.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, we're not going to kill you, but you also didn't help us, so we're not going to save you type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's your little history lesson to tell as you will.
Okay. Yeah. I'll explain that.
Interesting. And so, was she an Archfey back in the Feywild?
Was she?
Yes.
Yes.
Which, in her own demi-plane, would make her a sort of primordial being.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that she would agree to be severed from that?
Yes, she wants to be here with, me.
I will let you know, you said she was your patron. Yes, you draw power from her?
Yes.
With her being here, that's going to diminish your power. Depending on how powerful of a being she is, some Archfays are managed to maintain to be able to support several beings, even without their own planes of existence, so it depends on how powerful she is. But if she's also pulling on her own power, which is what happens when the essence pearls fuse with the core, it may be more difficult for her to support you, just depending on how things go.
Does the type of pact affect that?
It does not. It just more is a gamble as to how much power she will have and be able to maintain, as well as knowing that there may be times that she can't support you. So it would have to be a guess and a possible sacrifice on your end.
Well, how helpful would she be in fight life?
Well, to be honest with you, depending on how powerful of a being she is, which I wouldn't know until I spoke with her to kind of analyze, if she's more powerful than Felgulus, she could be very helpful. If she's less powerful, it might produce a young dragon, which would still be helpful.
Would she have to become a dragon?
Yes.
Would she still be able to shift like Legolas?
Don't know for positive because I've only completed this once, but most chromatic metallic dragons are able to. I have met several chromatic dragons who are able to as well. My
I cannot.
guess and my theory leads to more than likely yes.
I can. Actor?
You cut out there, Smell.
Oh, I'm just thinking. I can let you talk to her.
All right.
It's a bit tricky, but I am able to contact her through spell dream.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it is technically breaking some magical rules, but, you know.
Well, with your connection to her, it makes sense.
But if you'd like to talk to her and figure out if she indeed would be... Frankly, I'm going to tell you if she's willing and wants to, I'm more than happy to make any sacrifice necessary.
Aw. He kind of smiles. Has she expressed interest in coming to your world?
I mean, she's my wife.
And I suppose being trapped in the demi-plane like you suggest is rather lonely.
Yes. And our goal is to get me, or if only possible, if I need to go to her, that's what I'll do.
All right. Well, if you can connect me with her, then let's do so I can gauge.
All right. Then he will touch Tobias' shoulder, and he will cast Dream on him.
Okay. So, this is your second time doing this, and so the DC is going to be a little bit lower. I'm calling it a luck check to see if your connection can send through, and he will fail willingly.
Okay. I realized that I panicked for a second because I was like, elves can't be contacted, but he's contacting. So,
Yes.
it checks out. Fine. Alright, a luck check then.
Mm-hmm. So a D100 for me. These are really prevalent in this campaign, and I've been having so much fun with them.
Ooh. If I
Okay.
think that's not going to work, I will crush a bit of the essence pearl I have and reroll.
That is up to you.
Does it feel like the spell is working?
I'm not going to tell you that. You need to choose.
Well, I mean, I can always try again in an hour, so...
Whatever you would like to do.
Actually, DM, has it technically been a short rest amount of time between our last fight and now?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, then I have 2 slots.
Okay.
So, I'll see how this one goes.
Okay. So he sits down on one of the chaises. You touch his shoulder and cast a spell, and he closes his eyes and accepts it. And the smoke begins to pour off of your fingertips from the contact point, the hand that your ring and your mark is on, and begins to form around him, almost as if her plane is seeing if she can accept him.
Mm-hmm.
And you feel it shudder for a moment, and for just a brief second, you're terrified it's not going to work. and then it accepts. And he falls onto, kind of leans over into the side, his head lolling as he falls into a sleep.
I think this is probably the first time this man's ever fallen asleep before. Whoops!
That's okay.
Mhm.
It's for the sake of magic. He was very
Oh,
curious and willing for this.
Cool.
You don't know what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
So, how long is the spell last? How long does it take?
8 hours, but I mean, he can always, from what I understand, the messenger can leave.
End it, yeah. Okay. So, you
Yeah,
settle...
the messenger can remove from the trance at any time, ending the effect of the spell early.
Okay. So, you move away, and he sleeps. And, you get the sense that the nature of your magic and your connection with Feyre allows this to be a moment of communication. And that him going to her plane to meet her, since it worked, even though it's a little bit of a twist of the spell,
Hey, he's a bard and a warlock. That's kind of what they do.
yeah, and I'm all for twisting magic. And this is something we had talked about. He's having a conversation. You're not quite sure how long it's going to take or how time passes between the two realms, and so you settle in. An hour, 2 hours pass. You start to get a little nervous. And about halfway through the second hour, you watch, you feel the smoke beginning to pull off of him, and you just get, like, the sense of, you know when the cloud of hair brushes past you and you just get a whiff of how good it smells, and then you feel just a fingers on your cheek for a moment, and a smile down upon you. And then he wakes up. And he looks at you.
Huh? How'd sleeping feel?
You know, I do have to say, even though it was rather odd, I have cast the spell on myself before, so...
Okay, I was a bit nervous.
Yeah. So it wasn't a first effect. I've used this to contact Lillian several times, and I used a bastardized version of it via Essence Pearl to contact her while I was, dying. It was I tried to do a joint contingency. Anyway, magic. So, she definitely is a more powerful being than Felgalis.
Oh.
I don't think she would manifest as an ancient dragon. I think that she would need the addition of the Essence Crystal, but I feel like she would be able to support both your magic to an extent, as well as be able to maintain her dragon form. However, as I said, if she gets injured, she may break her concentration on keeping your magic infused. So...
Frankly, I don't care about that. The only reason why I have gotten powerful is so that I could find better ways to get hurt.
You cut out at the end there.
Oh, would you like to listen in? Go for it, man. We've been sitting here for a hot minute.
Yeah, I was gonna resolve that in just a moment.
But the only reason why I've gotten more powerful is so that I can find a way to get her to me.
And if this is the way, you don't care what it takes, is what you're saying to me.
I mean, I'd like to live so we can spend our time together, but I don't need to be a powerful being.
All right. Well, I can tell you that I don't know what it will take. I can only speculate. I don't think that she will need as much infused energy as Felgolis does. But I do think she would benefit from the other half of the essence crystal, when we do get it.
Would her and Fegalis need to split it?
I'm not quite sure how many, for lack of better terms, you know how the essence pearls have charges.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the essence crystal is going to be much of the same. And so my speculations is it would have enough charges to do what it needs to do for Felgolis to get him to a large enough, advance his age as well as stabilize him. And I speculate that it would be powerful enough to do that for one other dragon.
Okay. I trust you on that.
I will also warn you, just because I've done a lot of extensive research on dragons and reproducing. If you and your wife, after she has become a dragon, do reproduce, you may... If she,
Bright red.
If she gives birth in dragon form, it will likely turn into a dragon. And if she gives birth in humanoid form, there's a chance that it would be a normal child.
I haven't thought that far.
I just giving you all of the information. Also, I will state, Sly, he doesn't know that Kieran is technically undead. So, just putting that out there.
Oh, is Kieran floating blanks?
Kieran doesn't fucking know.
Time to test it out.
Oh my gosh, these are the things that the DM has to think about that she doesn't want to think about. Anyway.
I'm gonna be honest, this man's like, I just want to be with my wife. He's not like, children.
Yep.
What are the implications? He's
Yep.
just like, I get to hug her. Great.
Aww. Gotta love a resolution to a long distance.
Mhm.
So, she seemed willing. From what I gathered, she's been cut off completely, which is great because I don't have to try to sever that tie. Makes it a lot easier, and so I would just be severing the tie with her current demi-plane, and she is willing. If you want, I can do it right now. However, I will be extremely weak, which I don't know how much use I would have been tomorrow anyway. And I was, to be honest with you, trying to figure out a Hail Mary to be able to pull someone else out of this plane.
How about we talk to the group and we ask what they think would be more advantageous? Because if people would rather wait on it, could you be perhaps tomorrow, maybe the next day, pull her out if we...
Yes.
Okay.
I could do it this minute, or I could do it tomorrow morning. As long as we
Okay.
have enough power in terms of essence pearls. I have several myself, but definitely not enough.
He's essentially saying if people would rather like to wait on it, if they feel like it's too risky or they want to bias like in the fight,
Mm-hmm.
that he's willing to wait until after all these shenanigans are over to pull her.
Okay. So while this is happening, Lydia, you snuck up towards the door, and it like kind of slams in your face a little bit, and then the curtains get dropped. You can still attempt to listen through if you would like.
Yep.
So I'm.
So it's a perception check?
Yes,
or...
that is a perception check.
Spam. A casual.
Damn! Lydia Snoopy!
All right. So I guess it would depend on how long you want to listen. You definitely get the first part of the conversation, the reveal of Kieran's wife, as well as her story, and the supposition of what could happen. You then hear Kieran cast the dream spell, and it is up to you if you want to wait the 2.5 hours that it would take.
Well, she really needs to go pee. I guess she'll go pee and then come back.
Okay.
Is she a long pier or a short pier?
It doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure she doesn't take 2.5 hours to pee.
I
Wow,
would
let's go.
imagine. I would imagine.
I'll leave it to the DM. Does Lydia take 2.5 hours to pee?
No, no.
I mean, no, I'm okay with it if you want to do it.
No, it's
perfectly
fine. So you
I don't know how goblins work in your world.
goblins pee like normal. Why is this okay? Guys, please. So all right. So you can easily take a break and head back in time, and waiting around a little while more. After about 2.5 hours, you do manage to hear the last half of the conversation, especially with that nat 20 perception check.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you do kind of hear the resolution of that there.
Valuable information.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of popping back in, he says, "Do you want to wait until morning to talk to them, or would you like me to try to wake them now? I'm not sure if they're still awake."
I feel like Miriam would be awake. I'll go see. If everyone's awake, I'll talk now. If not, I'll ask in the morning.
All right. Well, I appreciate the candor with me this evening.
Of course.
Okay. Lydia, you hear the conversation coming to a close. Are you staying? Are you walking away? Are you attempting to hide?
I'm just gonna walk away.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll say for the sake of it, you heard the conversation coming to a close, and I feel like Kieran and Tobias are a little bit of the longer goodbye type.
100%.
Yeah, so like he finishes the bourbon, you end up having a conversation about it, and then you like walk out. So, and then are you heading to find Miriam?
Yes. I'll poke around for people.
So, what is Miriam doing at the moment?
I imagine Miriam is probably meditating on a flame right now, doing her best to contact her patron and just let him know, hey, I'm gonna be asking for Caldera in the morning. They'll get the burn shit, I promise.
Okay. For the sake of this, will you just roll me a general charisma check?
Absolutely.
Probably like 3 hours to do this, so.
Yeah, you have plenty of time.
Alrighty, charisma check. Is this affected by the bless that I got, or is that just ability checks?
What bless?
Yeah.
Earlier.
Earlier.
We've been playing that you can add it to ability checks.
Alrighty, because I think it's, I believe that you ruled it.
It's just your
Excellent.
first roll.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
I still have a DM inspiration.
so with the 24, you are meditating, and it takes a moment, and then you feel yourself ascend, and kind of are whisked away into that plane of fire. And it's just like a very brief, it's not even a conversation, but since you are focusing so hard on just like this message to be relayed out, you just get like a, I suppose if they want to, but that's up to them. You know how they are.
I know how they are. I also know they would love nothing more than to turn a glacier into something more befitting of themselves.
It would be a great rebirth. All right, I give my permission.
Greatly appreciated, Fayez. You are wonderful as ever.
Do well, my dear. And then just like a little, you just get like a little image of them, the extremely sharp cheekbones and the fire bursting all around their face. They tap their nose twice and then boop you on your nose, and there's just like a soot print left behind when you come out of your meditation.
Yeah, so Miriam is probably cleaning off the soot whenever Kieran finds.
Yeah, I would say that kind of sucking in took about 2.5 hours, so it checks out. 3 hours. So Kieran knocks on your door. It's like, I would say, timing wise, it's hard to tell when you're up in the north, but you guys were nearing on evening, and so I would say at this point it's probably like close to 11, almost midnight, the equivalent of. So you get... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if she lets me in, I'll just give her a very, very brief, like, by the way, FYI, these are the thoughts. This is the plan. Tobias is on board. Faye is on board. What do you think? What are your opinions?
I mean, I'm absolutely on board. I hear how you pine about her, and I'm sorry about early. Sorry to force your hand. I was just you'd be too coy.
I was gonna chit-chat with him afterwards, privately. It's not that I don't trust Lydia and Sheila, but I don't need them wrapped up in my personal business.
That's
or
fair.
getting negatively affected by it.
Well, at least for right now, we're a group, and that is part of what comes for it, so... But I don't imagine that either of them would have much difficulty extricating themselves should they get wrapped up.
True.
But I'm glad that you found a way. You deserve it, Kieran. And I will ruffle his hair.
So he is asking your opinion on whether or not should it be attempted like tonight or tomorrow before we go fight, or should we wait until afterwards? Because it is going to... I don't know mechanically how low it'll probably drop him in levels, but he's probably not going to be nearly as effective. But we're gonna have a fucking Archfey turned into dragon to contend with, to help. So it's a pretty good give and take what he thinks personally.
I'm personally for it. Are you confident with yourself? I mean, if you are dropped in power, I know that does tend to affect how hardy people can be. Are you confident enough that you'll be able to withstand the fight?
I mean, we've got the potion, now don't we?
That we do, and I believe that heart should still keep working until the time that you took it tomorrow, so...
And I do have another one, so...
As long as you are confident in yourself, I will back you with any play you make, Kieran.
Alright. And then I'm gonna find Sheila and Lydia and do the same spiel.
Okay. Sheila, where were you?
In bed asleep.
Oh, you knock on Sheila's door. Sheila, do you answer?
No, I'm asleep.
You're cocked out. Don't hear the door knock. Okay. Fair.
Because I feel like Kieran's kind of leaning towards maybe having Tobias do it tonight so he's not fucking conked tomorrow. I feel like that'd be preferable. But he'll go find Lydia.
Okay. Lydia, where were you after eavesdropping for 3 hours?
Committed
Probably
eavesdropping.
making myself a sandwich.
Okay, so you wandered into the kitchen. You get no answer at Lydia's door, much of the same. But one of the unseen servants, like, tugs you towards the kitchen.
Okay, I'll follow.
Okay, so you're led to where Lydia is.
I'll kind of give, like, a very super concise spiel of, like, patron wants to get to our world. Unless Lydia pries, he won't divulge the fact, like, yeah, it's my wife and I love her and she's great. He'll just kind of give, like, the base details and, like, what'll happen if she is here and how she'll be helpful, but Kieran will probably be less powerful, or potentially less powerful, they're not sure, etc., etc.
That's quite the conundrum. Well, if you're asking for my advice, I would suggest we do it later. Just because she might be weakened by being transformed into a dragon, so I'm not sure how much help she might be in during the fight.
What did
Uh,
Tobias say?
Tobias said that when he kind of analyzed her, he thought that she would be on par with Felgalis, or more, and that he didn't think that she would, like, be as weak as Felgalis. You know how when he draws a lot of his energy, he needs essence pearls? He doesn't think that she will have that effect, based on what he, gleaned of her magic power. But he also doesn't know the effect of having a warlock draw power from a being like that would be.
Okay.
So.
He'll explain that then.
It seems to me that we're going to be decreasing the strength of you and Tobias in order to potentially gain the help of another ally.
I will also remind
of.
remind all of you that Tobias said that he doesn't think he'll be able to fight. So he's extremely weakened and exhausted from being petrified in the ice for like 3 weeks. And so he doesn't think he'll be able to fight. He just kind of was gonna chill in the back and be your exit strategy.
And even
Isn't
if
this all moot? We need the essence crystal anyways to make this plan of yours work?
No, she would just be like, essentially like matured, like Felgalis would be afterwards. She could still help even now.
Well, I know that you trust her, and that's enough for me, but I don't want to see one of my allies, and dare I say it, friend, weaken before a fight.
I'll manage. And frankly, I feel like the better choice would either be to do it tonight, so in the morning we can know where I'm at, or do it afterwards. But I feel like having another Felgalis would be a little more important than having a me on the field, you know?
I disagree. Felgalis has been pretty useless.
He'll wink and say, a more powerful Felgalis.
Yes, but how much more powerful? I'm sorry. My opinion is just a straight no, but
Okay.
I understand that you have a more personal matter. This hits you more personally, as this is your patron. So, yeah. I mean, I said my piece. It's at this point, it's up to you.
Ugh, fuck. Sly's not good at making these life choices. Because I know Kieran selfishly would want to, but he also doesn't want to screw everyone else.
It's a gamble!
Yeah, I know. You gave me the fucking foreshadowing for it.
What? Me? Foreshadow? Never.
Okay. This is Sly asking. I do want opinions from people, because I'm very bad at making decisions.
I'm here for the chaos, man.
Yeah, Lydia already said her piece.
I'm asking Candle, but...
Candle has ulterior motives, so he cannot answer it.
Okay.
I love that.
I'm asleep.
Shorty's asleep?
Oh no.
I'm a method actor.
No, please don't sleep during my session. Do we need to end?
It's your decision, Broski.
I guess it's your decision.
I might roll for it. Because here's the thing, is that Kieran would be like, yeah, I want her as soon as I can, but also at the same time, he'd be like, I've waited this long, I can wait longer. of a bitch. Why'd you make the indecisive person have this?
You wrote the story, ma'am.
Hey, I gave you.
I just ran with it.
Well, if you really need to, I mean, Lydia can always cast suggestion on you, and so you don't do it.
He's gonna ask
Then it's out of your.
to do it.
Ooh.
I rolled for it. And if it was high, he was gonna be selfish. And take the risk.
Lifetime.
Okay. So we haven't had a break yet. And so I guess
No.
my question to you guys is, because I know that Sly doesn't work tomorrow, but I also don't know what time you're getting on the road tomorrow. How late would you guys like to go tonight?
I'm good to go to like 12:30 personally. My time.
Yeah, I'm all good.
If I need to tap out, I'll give you like a 15-minute warning.
Okay. Shorty, do you need to be up early?
Yeah, 11:30 is pretty late. TC.
So I'm just more asking if do we want to take a break and then go into this and start the fight, because that will still go into next session for sure. Or are we feeling more of a let's just push through and see the results of Kieran's choice and then end it there?
I mean, how long would that take?
It depends. I was planning on stopping the fight when it felt organic.
Oh, I just meant like, summoning the wife.
Probably less than 20 minutes.
I'd be down to just do that if you need to head to bed, Shorty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, that just means that the next session might be a little long, but that's okay.
That's fine.
We can plan for that and maybe push it back to a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
Final battles are always long.
Yeah, which is why I was gonna split it up. Alright, thank you for coming along with our, player DM discussion on time. I'm sure that if you were watching this later on YouTube, that it was a very fun conversation that did not pertain to you at all. You're welcome. Alright. So with that, you head back to Tobias, who has kind of cracked open several books, back in that super comfortable, like, living room, formal living room, if you will, front room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And has been like, he's kind of studying things, and he looks up at you as you walk in. So, what's your choice?
I think having her here will be a more powerful asset than being at my full capacity. And I mean, I don't draw all my power from her, and so I'll at least be able to do a decent amount.
Mm-hmm.
And we shall see. I think I'd rather try it now and be prepared for it than tomorrow.
All right. Well, we will need to get ready for this ritual. He thinks for a moment, have a ritual chamber prepared, so we can
Casually just have a ritual chamber.
Well, I mean, it's a magic mansion, so he can change it at will.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have the tier 7 essence pearl, and I have a couple spare charges, but I will need additional pearls. So if there's a way you could procure that for me, probably enough for 15 charges.
I have 15 additional.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I've got 3. And then Lydia's got the bag, right?
Yep.
Yep.
If you need to go get them, as well as if any of your companions want to watch, I luckily enough, have a dragon egg on hand. So I will proceed to the ritual chamber and get started, and if you can get the essence pearls for me, we can go.
Cool. I'm gonna find Miriam first. And
Miriam will go down to watch, and she will give, and if he wants any more energy from like any of her spell slots, she will offer it up.
okay, thank you. And then he'll say, I'm gonna need more essence pearls, and Lydia has them, and she was iffy about this. But so he's kind of being like, can you come for moral support?
Miriam will nod, and she'll put on her best convincing face.
And Kieran will go ask Lydia for the bag of essence pearls.
Okay. Lydia will fish into the bag to see exactly how many essence pearls they need.
I'm gonna need about 12 additional charges.
So, for the sake of this, there are, hold on, I have it up in there. Where'd it go? I gave you, yes, so you have 5 more left in the bag, and you have not picked them to determine their magic yet.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Okay, so, with this, if you are deliberately pulling one out of the bag, we will do it one by one to see how much they are, and you can stop
Yeah.
at any point.
Let's just do them. Let's just do them all.
Okay.
At once, might as well.
Roll me 5
Might as well.
D100s.
I'll let Sly do it.
Oh, no, don't have me do it. Fuck. I rolled terrible on D100s, remember?
I believe in you.
I don't. Alright. 1. 2. Are you sure you want me to continue, Candle?
I am positive.
3. Ooh! 4. Ooh! Damn!
Okay.
Candle's faith in me overtook the bad roll.
Candle's faith in you indeed did. Okay, so, that's a 24, a 20, an 83, which is going to be the tier 6 essence pearls, which are 8 charges, an 86, and an 88. So it's, so it is, 2 tier 1 essence pearls, so the equivalent of 3 charges from each of those, and then it is 3 tier 6 essence pearls, so the equivalent of 8 charges from each of those. So
Okay. I guess I'll give her 2 tier 6s.
Yeah.
Or is it you only need 12?
I've got 3 additional charges from my previous one.
Okay. So math, I'll give you. Yeah, sure. That's what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
all right. So, with those pulled and determined, Lydia, keep in mind the essence pearls you still have. Sly, Kieran, you take the 2 tier 6s and your one that you already had and head back to the ritual chamber.
Mm-hmm. Also, yeah, I will invite Lydia if she wants to join.
No, Lydia will just then go make herself a sandwich and just
Another
yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Before he heads out, he will get down on one knee and look at you and say, "Thank you."
Don't mention it.
You are a good friend.
Huh?
And pat you on the shoulder and say, "When we get back, remind me that I owe you to make at least 3 of your favorite dinners."
I'll hold you to it.
And he'll head out.
Okay. So, with that, So with that, you head to the ritual chamber. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. So with that, you head to the ritual chamber. It's a pretty wide open room. There's some couches kind of like off in the corner outside of the chalk circle drawn. And it's doesn't seem to be too much. And so in the space. And so as you see him starting to draw chalk circles around, they seem to be infused with a lot of like gem dust here and there, as well as other things like that. Several candles set up, several incenses set up, and all of those things. And so with that, you take the time to kind of get things set up there. You hand over all of the pearls, I presume?
Mm-hmm.
Just enough for her to.
Yeah, no,
you
no,
were-
the
No,
two that
I
you
meant-
gave me and my remaining.
Oh, great.
I meant Sly. I was asking Sly if you were handing over that.
Yes.
Yeah, and Miriam will offer up her 3 5th level spell slots that she has left if it'll help stabilize anything, if he wants that energy.
Hold on one second. I have a player messaging me in the back that I need to quickly reply to.
Clearly, it's Shorty.
We're getting my wife. I didn't even think I'd get that.
My wife.
My wife. But I was just like, ooh, cool backstory thing. I was not expecting this. It's always exciting.
Okay.
On her focused face.
Mm-hmm.
My wife.
Okay. Sorry, I just needed to do that exchange before we started.
No problem.
All right. So you hand over all of the essence pearls, and Tobias begins to get things set up. You see him take some time in deliberation with a what you assume to be a bag of holding, and he looks at you for a moment, and he looks back down, and then he looks back at you, and then he just kind of says, "What?" She briefly mentioned that she drew a lot of her power from the natural circle of life, death and decay specifically, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I might take some of that energy from you, Miriam. I think I have something that could work. And you see just like the grin of a guy who has a flair for... This is his art. And he is creating art here. And so, so as he is kind of getting things set up, you see him pull out an egg from his bag of holding, and you can ask if there is a check, or you can ask him specifically to know what type of dragon, or if there's a check that you want to make to kind of see. But it seems that he has selected a dragon egg.
Kieran knows nothing about it, so...
I'll take a good long look and see if I can puzzle out before I ask him.
Okay, you can make an Arcana or a Nature check.
Alrighty, Nature or Arcana. They're both +0, so I'm gonna go with a Nature. That is a 13.
Okay. You're not sure. It kind of has a little bit of a silvery tint, but you're not 100% positive.
I'm just curious, what have you selected?
So I had a thought. You know how there's shadow dragons that exist, from some other planes of existence?
I've not personally run into some myself, but I have heard of them.
They come from when a dragon can, shift. So they typically are based around a certain type of dragon, and then the magic of the plane changes them. And so I'm wondering if I could pull from you, as I'm doing this ritual, I can take this silver dragon and shift them into a shadow dragon, which I think would be a better fit for Feyre.
Well, I have, if we had to put them on levels, I have about 3, bursts of energy in me at like a 5 out of 9.
I've got not much, but some.
All right. Let's...
I don't suppose I could have technically gotten another long rest in after
No.
I cast Dream.
No.
Oh, wait, I had a short rest, so I have 4 actually. Sorry.
Yeah!
Okay.
Yeah!
We'll see how much I need. It's gonna be a in-the-moment thing. I also don't know if this will work, so a silver dragon might just have to do. But I
Yeah,
have
we shall.
a flare. So you watch as he begins to chant. He pulls the pearl out, and the tier 7 one that he had, and crushes it in his hand. And you feel just like this wave of energy come over. I don't, like, Miriam, you've cast Wish before, but it's interesting. It's very intriguing. And the way that he begins to just like pull from the air and in this arcane space specifically. And as he's doing this, you begin to feel the walls close in, and smoke and this just scent of decay begins to fill the room. And it reminds you, Miriam, a little bit about when Kieran goes into his form of dread. And you watch Tobias like just grimace for a moment, and then he takes the essence pearls and begins to smash them around the dragon egg and expending each of their charges. And he reaches out towards you, and his eyes grow pitch black. And he begins to pull energy from you that you give willingly. And it's intense to the point that you know that this wizard's so powerful that even in his weakened state right now, if he were to try, he could maybe even pull it from you unwillingly. And it's a little bit of a scary thing to note there. And do with that information as you will. And he pulls it, and you watch it swirl around this dragon egg. And it begin to change and to be wrapped up in this smoky essence. And he kind of takes a moment to set, and he breathes, and you see just like a deep exhaustion come over him. One from shifting this magic that doesn't have terms yet. And he looks down at the egg that is continuing to pulse, and he says, I have done what I can. Now we wait and see what happens in roughly about an hour.
All right.
There's a danger of using many essence pearls, so it was a good thing that you had just a couple high level ones. So I'm hoping in our success here. Kieran.
Mm-hmm.
As this is permeating, you begin to feel your energy drain. And as her essence begins to fill the room, clogging your nose And while you don't breathe necessarily, you can feel it. And actually, it begins to pour down into your lungs to the point that it feels like it's suffocating you. And you feel your energy begin to dissipate. And I need you to roll me a luck check
All right.
to see how well this goes here.
51.
Okay. So, I will keep that in mind, and we will see what happens with it.
Cool.
And so, as you wait out the hour, you begin to, after about the 30-minute mark, you begin to hear a crack that shatters the sound of the room. And Tobias is sitting almost in a trance right outside of the chalk circle, seeming to concentrate on this to maintain it. And it looks difficult for him. But you hear the crack that shatters the room, and you watch as like a being begins to grow out of this smog, out of this smoke in the center. And it continues to grow over the next 30 minutes until it reaches a space that's a little bit larger than Felgalis. And at around the hour mark, you feel a burst go through the room, and Kieran, you're almost catatonic at this point. It is hard for you to watch. And you look up, and you see your wife's fully dark eyes, just a slight glow of green. And her elongated, when she's in her human form with her mask on, it looks almost like the plague doctor's mask, elongated with a pointed nose. And this dragon staring at you has just a similar nose shape, very different from a lot of the flatter dragon noses that you see. The two nostrils like flaring as it breathes out and the smoke scatters across the room. The shadows pulling you in, and its wings kind of shaking as it adjusts and sits. And it looks at you all. And it lets out just a roar, and it fills the space as these shadows come around. And then the figure begins to shrink and shrink as the shadow permeates into it. And you see standing in the center, your wife.
He will, exhausted, smile and say, well, you're even more beautiful.
You cut out completely in all of that, which sucked.
Damn, son of a bitch! He will say, you are even more beautiful in person, my dear.
She collapses to her knees, and you rush towards her, lifting her up from the ground, and kind of looking down at her. Both of you, evidently drained, and Tobias looks like he's about to keel over, but you take this moment in each other's arms for the first time, not in her plane, in the actual material plane, and you're not sure the effects of this yet, but you did it.
Hell yeah, baby!
And I think with that, we are going to end our session here. So we'll come back in next time. We'll see what happens with the boss battle here. It will be a little bit of a longer session, which will be kind of fun, because these have been relatively 2.5 hour sessions, which is a little bit short in D&D terms. So we'll see what happens next time. If you're on YouTube, leave a like. Let us know what you think. And let us know what you're anticipating in terms of the wrap-up of this mini campaign. And we'll be on to the next one soon enough. So that'll be fun. Alrighty, we'll see you all next time. Goodbye!
Goodbye!